3, 2, 1. Hey guys, welcome to the show.
My name's Kaz.
And I'm Nav, and welcome to
Game On and Beyond.
I already said welcome twice. But hey, you know what? We're going to workshop that as we continue to work on the show here.
Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in, whether you're watching or listening. This is probably going to be our first official episode that we're going to put up on the channel. We did a little test recording last week, and I think it came out pretty well. So
yeah,
the show's going to grow. Kind of a quick update on what we're doing. We're going to do information, game news. I think Zach wants to do reviews. We might have a streaming coming here and there. So we're going to be growing this beast, changing up stuff in the background, adding in things, but we're kind of starting grassroots for now. So
yeah, man, just like a work in progress more than anything. You know, it's one of those things where we got a lot of ideas, but you know, start small and grow big.
I agree. So today we got a couple things we're going to talk about. Just for a quick agenda, we're going to be talking a little bit about Sony's State of Play that came out. Wasn't last week, right? It was the week before. Or was it last Wednesday?
I think it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was last Wednesday.
Hold up. We can use the power of the internet. Shit, the power of the internet is failing me.
Oh my gosh, we should.
February 12th was the State of Play. So that was what, like 10 days ago? Excellent. So we're going to talk a little bit about the State of Play.
Yep.
We're going to talk a little bit about Overwatch 2. They had a spotlight video. We've dabbled in Overwatch. We're not like the hardest core players. We've known some Overwatch freaks in our lifetime. No offense, but we're going to talk a little bit about some great changes or some big changes. I don't know if they're going to be great. We'll see how the community responds coming to the game. And then we're going to cap off with a conversation or a little bit of tiny talk about some new information that came out of Elden Ring Night Rain.
Yes.
Which I'm weirdly excited about. I played Black Myth Wukong,
Ooh.
and I didn't hate it. I just obviously got super stressed out, and I didn't play it anymore after like the first boss I beat. So we'll talk about a little bit about Souls games, about how Night Rain might be a good entryway for people who aren't so great at Souls games, and it might fit a good niche for both hardcore and what do they call them? Casual audiences, possibly. So
yeah,
let's get into it.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk a little bit about the Sony State of Play.
Lots of cool announcements that came out, man. Lots of cool announcements.
Lots of great announcements. Let's start with the first one. Monster Hunter Wilds. We talked about that in the last show a little bit. About one of our anticipated games coming out in February. A new trailer was released featuring Mizutsune. I'm so sorry. And a deeper look at some of its open world mechanics and dynamic weather effects. You're a big Monster Hunter person, right? Or you've played Monster Hunter a lot?
So the most I've played is Monster Hunter Rise, which came out on the Switch at first, but then migrated to PC and other consoles like PS4 or PS4, PS5, and whatnot. Great games. I find them very grindy. Obviously, you know, you're fighting monsters quite a bit to, you know, gain a lot of materials in order to basically upgrade your weapons and your armor and such like that, like normal games for the most part. But
there's just a lot of stuff. My buddy would always tell me I don't like it because I don't know how to read, but I know how to read. All right,
I'm pretty sure
there's so much information. It's a very deep RPG. It's a lot of the same, you know, very RPG-esque, repetitious kind of stuff. But the monster fights I've seen, the little bit of gameplay I have played was really fun. I haven't played any of Monster Hunter Wilds. Have you had a chance to dip into the beta or whatever that came out recently?
No, I haven't. Oh, wait. No, I don't think I have.
Okay.
I kind of keep on missing when they're having it.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen it looks amazing.
Yeah.
It looks great. The combat looks Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much
That's probably a good thing to say, because I think they've gotten down the ginormous monster fighting combat pretty well.
Shoot, I mean, that game's been out since like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So it released first on PS2 and worked its way up, and it's pretty much Capcom's best-selling series.
Yeah.
So they are always going to knock it out of the park no matter what, because it's their biggest series. I think it's even bigger than Resident Evil.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, probably Resident Evil's kind of not super hype anymore.
It's just this remake heavy. But there is rumors that this year and I think soon, that they're gonna release like a trailer for 9.
Okay.
And they're gonna bring back like Leon and Claire Redfield, which is kind of cool.
Hell yeah.
And also Resident Evil 4 remake was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
There's been a couple good remakes, that and Silent Hill 2.
Yes.
But anyway,
that was really good too.
We're getting off topic.
Yes.
Monster Hunter Wilds coming out soon, February 28th.
Check it out.
We got a first look at Shinobi, The Art of Vengeance. It's a new, well, not new, but it's kind of Sega reviving their long dead ninja franchise.
Yep.
Fast-paced combat, wall running mechanics, cool stealth-based assassination moves.
Yeah, it looks beautiful too. The art style is really different from normal Shinobi type of.
I don't think I ever played a lot of the Shinobi games, to be honest. I remember.
I never either.
I remember them. They're always very hard.
Yes,
if I remember correctly. So
yes, just like Ninja Gaiden for sure.
So someone that lacks the skill, like myself, probably will not be playing that. But it looks amazing, beautiful game, and if you're into that like roguelike, like boom, 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 quick, fast-paced kill mechanics, it's the game for you. We have Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, a new entry in the Sonic Racing series. It's featuring cross-platform multiplayer, which is always a plus, track customization, and new power-ups. The first thing I thought of, why does Sonic need a car?
True.
You know, but
Very
anyway,
true.
it looks cool. It looks very Mario Kart, which is probably hard to not emulate Mario Kart at this point with racing games. But same situation. You get the power-ups, you get the little attacks and boosts and all sorts of things. You get all your favorite characters. The track customization looks cool. My kids love racing games. I'm not really a racing game person, but we love like Mario Kart and that sort of stuff. So I'm actually really excited about this one.
One thing that I've noticed about it in the trailers is that it seems like the stages change, like kind of like automatically, like when you're going through those portals.
Yes, I think there's some. I don't want to give it too much credit, but I think there's a little bit of like track generation that takes place depending on what you do in the race itself. So there is a closed network test for this game, February 21st. It looks like it already passed. LOL.
Nice.
That was yesterday. Closed test for it. But that's gonna be a cool one, I think. It's always fun to have those little party racing games for fun with your friends.
Yeah, and also like it kind of gave me some like Ratchet and Clank vibes from the newest one because of how like the SSD makes it so that like when you're going through those like portals that were in the game itself, it just like changed the dynamics of what was going on. So to me, I found that pretty cool, very interesting. But
the PS5 is a pretty powerful system. Like looking at some of the things that it's able to accomplish, it's no PC. But the amount of power they can squeeze out of this thing for some of these games, they look amazing, and the performance looks like it's actually going to keep up. So
absolutely,
let's hope
it's looking good.
Next one, I'm pretty excited about this as well. Digimon Story, Time Stranger, Bandai Namco's next big Digimon RPG, introduces time travel mechanics, and it lets players interact with different eras in the digital world. That sounds pretty cool.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that part either. That's actually really cool.
Do you know if it's turn-based?
I do not.
I wonder. Because
there wasn't too much information, just the story trailer. It looks like it could be turn-based, like it's almost kind of like Final Fantasy style, where you walk around like old school, and then all of a sudden you like trigger a battle.
Yeah, nice.
But we'll see. I like the idea of dipping into previous eras of the game. Maybe some fun nostalgia bits.
Oh, sure.
And Digimon's awesome. I feel like a good Digimon game.
Yeah,
been out in a hot minute.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the digital. There was a couple of turn-based, like the digital store or Digimon story games are highly praised. Especially, I think Cyber Sleuth was really good too.
Cyber Sleuth. I remember you playing that. I feel like.
So yeah, it was.
Back in the day.
I think it was free on PS Plus or something, and yeah, I liked it a lot.
I love that. This one has a release date, late 2025. So it doesn't really have a release date, just a release time.
Hey, we're getting there though. At least it's releasing.
So this one, Lost Soul aside, there was a gameplay trailer for this. There was a lot of gameplay trailers for a lot of these things, or a lot of, I should say, cinematic trailers. Not a ton of gameplay for some of these games, especially one we'll talk about later, which I'm really excited about. Intense real-time combat, high-speed movement, and cinematic action.
Yeah, it looks cool. I think this one is part of Sony's China project.
Okay.
They had that with, I want to say Stellar Blade was one of them, I think. But they are really doing well with the China project. And it's really good to kind of, get China involved with the video game industry.
They already are in a lot of ways.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm saying, like, well, especially with I
know what you're saying. Chinese developers.
Yeah,
I think is the thing, because we saw that with Black Myth Wukong, and that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
That's cool.
Anything else?
I am pretty excited about this. A lot of people said this was like way too anime-ish.
Okay.
But
Is this like a Stellar Blade kind of situation?
no, I think it's just like a normal like kind of like Devil May Cry type.
Oh, okay. I love that.
So like that's what I like a lot more. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what people and the reception of it is.
Yeah. There's a Devil May Cry TV show coming out in like March, I think, on Netflix. An animated show. I'll show you the trailer later.
Ooh,
I think you might actually really be into it.
I'm pumped.
This one I know you're excited about because we talked about it last time. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Yakuza spinoff set in a fictional version of Hawaii featuring a new cast alongside returning favorites. Players can explore islands, engage in new side activities, and experience a pirate-themed main story.
Yep.
They're going to do pirates better than... What was that? The game that came out that Ubisoft did?
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones.
Yeah, the first quadruple A game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Not so.
Yeah, it sucks.
I'll tell you that.
It sucks, and this is probably going to have a way higher active player base, and it's like the kind of pirate combat you want to do and the kind of pirating you want to do in these games. You want to be able to go and fight people. You want to swashbuck. You want to... Swashbuckle? Swashbuckle? I don't know.
Matey.
You wanna fight 1-on-1 with swords. You wanna do the boat combat. You wanna do the pirate exploration. You don't wanna just ride around in your boat and upgrade your boat and shoot things with your boat and go buy chickens to go upgrade your boat. Like that's mad lame. And Ubisoft, it's lame. Okay? But this sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, I actually have it downloaded on my PlayStation 5 right now. I took the whim and I was like, you know what? It's time for me to get onto it.
It's got a demo, it says here, which is cool. So you've been playing that a little bit?
Yeah. I played the demo for about 5 minutes and then I said no spoilers. So
okay, I like that.
So I'm gonna
I like it. I don't want to spoil the story.
Yeah, I'm definitely going blind in this one. There's a lot of content creators that I watch like Yakuza stuff for, and I've been just trying not to look at it. So I'm really looking forward to it. Shout outs to Goro Majima, because that guy is insane, and I'm looking forward to seeing the shenanigans that he gets into.
I love it. It's a really popular franchise, so
absolutely.
I think this next installment's going to be a hit. Sure. We got Dave the Diver, Ichiban's Holiday, crossover DLC with the Like a Dragon series. Very cool, featuring new underwater exploration missions, Ichiban-themed outfits, and a comedic minigame where Ichiban learns to fish.
Yeah,
Dave the Diver was like mad popular.
Yeah,
I remember that game.
Yeah, Dave the Diver is really popular. It's cool that they're doing a lot of crossovers, and the sales really reflect that very well, because every time they do, they get a boost in sales quite a bit.
I love that.
So yeah, Ichiban, Yakuza Like a Dragon 7 and 8, really cool guy. He deserves as much recognition as he can, especially in the video game industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
There's been some rumblings of a Like a Dragon movie coming out. The Simu Liu, who played Shang-Chi in that Marvel movie.
I think it's a TV show, isn't it?
Is it a TV show they want to do? Maybe it's a TV show.
I think it is.
But I think that actor somehow acquired the rights or is somehow involved with it. So he's really passionate about it. I guess he really enjoys the game. So
cool.
You love that when people who are actually passionate about things acquire things.
Absolutely.
We got the release date for that. It's saying is April 2025.
Cool.
For all you wrestling fans, we got WWE 2K25. The biggest addition here is the Island, which is a new open world. Well, I looked at the wrong thing. It's essentially a new social hub.
Yep.
That you can go to.
Yep.
So it kind of had almost like a light MMO feel in some of it, which I thought was kind of interesting. The game. This game probably, looking at the different iterations, isn't madly different besides just better graphics, better mechanics, new wrestlers. But now there's like a genuine new thing to do within the game itself.
Yeah.
I feel like 2K did this in another one of their games too. One of their basketball games. They did like an island type thing.
I think, yeah, the 2K NBA series, I think they started that.
Yeah.
And then it kind of brings me, like, it reminds me like Destiny with the social hubs there.
Yeah.
And
players can engage in real-time training, wrestling challenges, and interact with each other.
Yeah.
So
it's cool. It's kind of giving me, and also it's giving me the Street Fighter 6 vibe, because they kind of did that too.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully they integrate it very well, and I'm sure they will.
You got to innovate, right, to keep things fresh.
Yeah, and I think that would be good, and yeah, I think that would just be good for sports games in general. I'm surprised, like, I mean, I don't 2K. I mean, Madden's not in 2K. They're EA, obviously,
Yeah.
but I think that
They need to
Madden
have
should
the
do something
island
with
in
it.
Madden where
Yeah,
you play football and whoever loses dies.
it's like a battle.
It's a battle royale Madden.
Dude, that'd be kind of sick.
That's. Let's erase this so no one takes our idea.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
for sure.
We'll edit that in post. Launch date March 14th, 2025 for WWE 2K.
It's pre-ordered. It's on my system right now, and I will never play it because sports games are too hard for me, especially when they're realistic.
Yeah. All right. Another announcement. Fresh off the heels of a terrible movie that bombed in the box office, we have Borderlands 4. The fourth installment in the franchise, woohoo, will feature an open world format. Ooh, look at that. It's so new. With prestige. I don't know. I don't know why. I've never really liked Borderlands. I've tried playing it. My bias is going to show. I'm sorry. If you like Borderlands, please forgive me. Procedurally generated loot. Wow, that's so new. And new Vault Hunters. So I feel like Borderlands 3 was not a big... I feel like it made some money initially, but it ended up kind of being a critical dud.
Yeah, I don't think it sold as well.
Yeah, I think
as
the villains were not very interesting. I think the formula had gotten a little stale at that point. They tried to revive some interest doing that Borderlands movie, and oh my god, I didn't even go see. I've seen like clips from it. I refuse to give it any kind of viewage because it just looked so bad, and it did terrible. They lost a lot of money on that movie.
Yeah, I've only heard bad.
So my worry is that we might be seeing a little franchise fatigue. You know, a la Destiny or games like that have been around for years and years, franchises, you know. So, I mean, it looks okay. It looks like a looter shooter.
I mean, it's got some cool things where there's like a grappling hook now.
I saw that. There's more verticality, which I think is always fun in games.
They also said something about how they're trying to be more like kind of like a Doom style instead of
so like constantly moving, probably like more frenetic, which Borderlands always kind of had that, like, oh my gosh, everything's crazy.
Yeah.
But this seems like it is more of like it wants to keep you moving and moving around, kind of like almost like that light arena kind of style.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Tiny Tina's Adventure, which was a spin-off of the Borderlands series, that I think it kind of helped with the guidance for Borderlands 4.
Okay.
But I think that people are going to be really excited regardless. It has its amazing fan base.
Yeah.
And a lot of people really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think the biggest complaint, like I said, in the old game was just the villains and just kind of some of the story direction. So if they can kind of correct that, give you a dynamic villain that's interesting, you can probably overcome some of the fatigue stuff in the franchise.
Yeah, absolutely.
This one has a release date of September 23rd, which they gave at the showcase or at the State of Play. They did mention that there would be a dedicated showcase coming later in the spring. So they're going to show off more than the couple snippets that they did. They'll probably go over some of the new Vault Hunters, the new enemies, some of the story. So maybe that is what will be needed to get me a little more excited. I doubt it. Next, we got Split Fiction. This looked kind of interesting. A co-op adventure game from Hazelight Studios. They created It Takes Two, which was a very popular game, featuring a reality-bending story with multiple paths. So I think this one is about two writers. One of them writes like sci-fi, the other one writes fantasy, and they get brought into this world where they're essentially like adventuring in each other's worlds. That they created, I believe. So it's like one of them is going through like the story of the other, and that one's going through the story of the other. So like the sci-fi writers in the fantasy world in the sci-fi world, or fantasy writers in the sci-fi world. So it doesn't 100% look like my cup of tea, but the story seems interesting.
Yeah.
And the protagonists seem kind of interesting, you know. So
yeah.
You ever play It Takes Two, or you know anything about that? I never played it.
I played It Takes Two probably about, I'd say about an hour's worth of it.
Yeah.
It's a very good co-op game for sure. I played it with a friend of mine, and we had a blast for a little while. But Split Fiction to me, I'm not really interested in it. I don't really have a good reason, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just more like
some of these games feel very like cinematic driven games.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely more into like the action, like RPG-esque kind of games, but
absolutely.
there is a huge audience for stuff like this where there's a big focus on like the actual just storytelling, and you're kind of just there for the quick time events and things like that. So
yeah, it's definitely going to be for a niche audience, but also at the same time, It Takes Two did so well. I mean, obviously it was Game of the Year for
Please make sure you stop whatever game you're
That's funny. That's funny. That was my wife. Everyone.
That was
she sent an intercom message to my kids, and it came downstairs. So
HomePods can do that.
HomePods can do that.
Dude, what am I doing with my life? I need to get a HomePod.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I can't talk too much about Apple stuff, but you know, wink, 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 wink. But HomePods are pretty nice.
But he is the Apple master.
All right, I love it. Directive 8020. Sci-fi horror from Supermassive Games. They did Until Dawn and the Dark Pictures anthology. Players explore an abandoned space station where AI systems have gone rogue. This looks cool. It kind of reminds me of, it's kind of like almost like an Alien kind of thing where they come across like a derelict ship and there are these things there that are killing them, and it's spooky and scary. So I'm kind of interested. I think it looks fun. Obviously we need to see more of the gameplay and more of the story.
Yeah.
But survival horror, like space horror a la like Dead Space was always a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if it's anything like that, I'll take it. Launch date, October 2nd, 2025. We got a lot of launch dates for these things. That's good.
Yeah, the dates are good, man. We need dates.
We got Five Nights at Freddy's, Secret of the Mimic. New horror entry with a large open world structure and survival mechanics. So my kids love Freddy Fazbear. Is that like the
Freddy Fazbear?
Freddy Fazbear. See,
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, boomer. Yeah, they love Five Nights at Freddy's. So I've never really been a fan. It's always kind of creepy to me. But it's cool to see them kind of changing things up in the franchise a little bit. My son seems to think that this is like an origin, like a prequel.
Ooh.
I don't know
Okay.
if he's accurate on that, but kids nowadays probably know a lot more than I do. So that might be what it's about, but we'll have to dig in a little more. This has a release date of June 13th, 2025.
Yeah, I am really impressed with how much Five Nights at Freddy's games have actually evolved. They, to me, it seems like when they first came out, obviously, it was more in a different style. But as they went into like a 3D route,
Yeah.
it's gotten more beautiful. And not only that, but like I kind of got like
The lore
a
is
little
interesting,
freaked out,
kind of,
you know?
in that world. The lore is freaky, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
That's cool. I like it. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see.
I'm looking forward to seeing the reception for it. I like Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't play them necessarily, but I like to kind of see Scott Kaufman and kind of how he's taken the series, and so far it's kicking ass.
no, I love it. All right, The Midnight Walk.
Looks cool.
Excuse me. A claymation. I'm already not into this. A claymation style adventure game set in a surreal dream world, mixing platforming and puzzle solving.
When I first saw this game, it kind of reminded me of a game that came out I think like 2 years ago called Scorn.
Okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Which is like a first person game that had like a lot of puzzles, and that game kind of was a big turnoff for a lot of people because the puzzles sucked.
Yeah, claymation is cool, but kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, this one looks pretty decent. I didn't really find it very scary. I kind of laughed at certain parts of it, but because some of the animations kind of looked funny.
Yeah.
But hey man, if you're gonna put claymation in a game, that takes skill.
It does, and I mean, here,
stuff.
platforming's always fun. Puzzle solving's cool.
Yeah.
And much smarter people than I will probably enjoy it. Release date May 8th of this year.
Right on, man.
Now we're getting into some of the juicy stuff, sort of. Darwin's Paradox. This is a puzzle platformer where players control an octopus named Darwin, navigating a bioluminescent deep sea world full of scientific experiments gone wrong. Kind of reminds me of like Subnautica a little bit.
Yeah.
Is this supposed to be like, this is more of like a puzzle platforming game, not so much a survival game, but it's got that creepy underwater feel. So
Yeah, it gives me the like Limbo, what's the other game? Inside type of vibe.
Yep.
Where it's like like a 2D game, but it has the 2.5D kind of
yeah, I see what you're saying.
situation, as well as with a lot of like different puzzles and stuff. Also, this is really cool because it's like published by Konami, which was kind of really unexpected.
Yeah.
Especially for an indie game.
That really doesn't seem like it'd be in their wheelhouse completely. It's not like Yu-Gi-Oh or something else. I don't know what else Konami does.
Yeah,
I guess
absolutely.
they got Metal Gear Solid because we'll talk about that, I think, in a minute.
Shout outs to Konami. They're doing well so far. So
Yeah, I love it.
I'm pretty impressed.
Warriors Abyss. Yes. So we all know the Dynasty Warriors franchise.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of another entry, but it's going to be more of like that roguelike, kind of Hades-esque gameplay.
Yeah.
where you fight many enemies. Each time your run resets, but you get to carry over like your skills and your weapons.
I actually got a chance to play it.
Really?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What do you like it? You
Liked it a lot.
Okay.
It's a game that I'm definitely probably gonna pick up when it's like $20.
Yeah.
It's only 25, which is really awesome.
Is this okay? So a lot of games I feel like have been doing this. Like you remember? Did you ever see Deep Rock Galactic? Where you're the dwarves.
I've heard of it, but I never played it.
So they did a Deep Rock Galactic like Survive, which is like a roguelike game where you just go through different levels and in the moment you upgrade your skills and you try to get back to the pod, but it's like a top down, like stuff just swarms you.
Oh, cool.
They did that with League of Legends as well,
Oh, really?
where you pick like a hero and the enemies kind of populate, you kill, level up, upgrade yourself, and then keep going through each level, almost like that I keep saying roguelike like a million times, but that's the only thing that comes to my head when I think about it.
Sure.
But a lot of games have been kind of going to that kind of simplified style. I feel like a lot of franchises have dipped into that, and it's actually fun. You jump in, you play a little bit, you jump out.
Yeah, and I think that's what those kind of games are mostly for. And this is kind of the same way. You go in, you pick a character, and then you basically just keep killing monsters and stuff like that. Upgrade your people, and then eventually, like, you can have other people that join you, and then they like as NPCs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then you go in there and you just keep slashing. You get killed. You got like this really cool like kill counter like in the normal Dynasty Warriors games. So yeah, it's very cool, very pretty. I don't like the zombie aspect of it because I'm kind of over zombie stuff for a while.
I know what you're saying on that.
But yeah, it's
I'm done with Diablo.
It's real good though. I for $25, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's available now on PS4.
Yeah,
and
Shadow
PS5.
dropped, which I think more games should do that
Yeah.
because that
It gives you
is
something to
awesome.
do after the state of play. You can be like, woo, I'm gonna go play some games.
And also, what is really impressive is that it did not leak before the state of play.
Okay.
So, and like I guess like a couple of like big name titles did,
Oh yeah.
including Metal Gear.
This kind of stuff always happens. All right, we got some Onimusha news coming out of State of Play, which I'm excited about. We used to have some fun times playing Onimusha 3
Down in this basement.
down in the basement. It might have been this basement, actually, weirdly enough.
I'm pretty sure.
But that was always fun. So Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny, it's getting a remaster. Updated visuals, improved controls, new voice acting. I don't think they're remixing too much of the game. I think they wanted to maintain a lot of that survival horror aspect, so it's not like a complete remake.
Yeah.
But they are going to make it look prettier, sound prettier, and maybe it won't sound as cheesy because they're going to rework some of the voice lines.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this too. I played through the first one last year and I loved it. You know, it only took me about 4 or 5 hours to beat, which is normal. This one is, like you said, it's just going to be like an updated visual remaster a little bit.
It's good.
Small.
It's going to whet your appetite.
Yeah.
May 23rd for what comes next.
Also, just wanted to say, dude, supposedly, I guess this one and the fourth one are the most popular in the series. What do you mean,
the third one?
No, like the fourth one. Supposedly,
Isn't the fourth one about to come out?
No, I think the Way of the Sam. Wait, which one is it called? Way of the Sword.
Because we have Onimusha 1,
Onimusha 1,
Onimusha 2,
Onimusha 2,
Onimusha 3.
Onimusha 3, and then Onimusha 4, which was called Dawn of something.
Was there a fourth one?
Yeah, there was a fourth one. It was like Dawn of something.
Oopsie.
And then this one, and then the newest one, which we should probably just segue into.
No, I love it. We have Onimusha, Way of the Sword. I'm excited. Brand new entry in the Onimusha franchise starring Miyamoto Musashi. Oh my god, please don't hate me for butchering these names. It's going to be a little more open world sword combat with brand new supernatural abilities. So they didn't have too much. It was really a protagonist focused trailer, it seemed like, to kind of introduce the new protagonist, Miyamoto Musashi. We talked about who he's modeled after. I don't have it in my notes, but it's like a famous samurai. And it looks a little different, like not in a bad way. You know, the Onimusha has always had that real kind of dark, kind of bleak survival horror aspect. This, I think, is going to maintain that, but this felt like the clips that they showed of the action looked like a blend of old school kind of Onimusha from like Onimusha 3 that I remember, but it also felt a little more fast paced.
Yep.
So I like that. Seems a little comical. The protagonist has a moment where he's like, ah, like running away from demons and stuff. So like that's always fun to see. And you had the classic, kill the enemies, absorb their souls with the Oni gauntlet. So I'm actually really freaking excited about this. So.
Yeah, man, it's gonna look great. It does look great. The decapitation,
Yeah.
like stuff was just insane. Like how like the sword got stuck into the enemy's arm,
Yeah.
and it just was like.
And it seemed like there was kind of a way to
it.
utilize your environment a little bit. Like I think there was a scene where he like flips a table over, and uses it as cover, and you can use your environment. So I think, you don't always have to redo the combat, but adding in small things like that can help it feel more dynamic and like you have a more unique way of embracing enemies or fighting enemies. So
Absolutely.
I'm really excited. I'm weirdly excited about it. It looks gorgeous. So I'm
gorgeous. Yeah, once again, when it comes to this game, it's definitely going to the trailers themselves just bring so much excitement to it.
Yeah.
And I know Onimusha fans like us are just like we're ready for something kind of
we're eating good,
new. Yeah.
as the kids would say.
Yeah, they're cooking.
They're
real well.
cooking.
Sizzling very well.
We just need to have a graphic that goes up that just says old. Boomer alert. We should have a boomer alert where you like hit a button and it's like just kidding. All right, really no specific release date, but they're shooting to have it released in 2026.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey,
this is all I'm gonna say. Let it cook, man.
Let it cook.
Let it cook. Let it just let it marinate and just let it be great, because at the end of the day, put the TLC into the game, and then you're going to sell wonders.
Yes.
So, good job.
And at the end of the day, they're probably going to lay off people anyway. So, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, shout out
just like
to
Marvel
Marvel
Rivals.
Yeah.
Hey, to be fair though, I think that news was a little overblown. Not that it's good to lay off people, but I believe it was like a very small team of like 5 or 6 people that got moved out.
But also, NetEase just confirmed that they're going to be laying off more for stuff. So, yeah.
Get in there and buy more microtransactions, and maybe people won't lose their jobs. Just kidding. You're only padding the CEO's pockets.
True.
Let's move on. Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Oh my gosh.
Snake Eater. Dude. Oh my god.
So
Okay.
good.
So unlike Onimusha 2, this is a full remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Modern graphics. Re-recorded dialogue from the original cast, which is and a reworked stealth mechanic. So they even had the little tease of the maintaining that little ape escape mode.
Yeah.
There was the mode where you hunted down, in the forest, you find the little apes as Solid Snake from Ape Escape, and they kind of tease that at the end. So I am just ready for this.
And what's crazy too is that they actually so that's a PS5 exclusive for Ape Escape.
Okay.
That part.
Oh, that part of it. Okay.
So they're gonna keep it in the Xbox version, but they're replacing it with Bomberman.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which is really weird because I don't know how they're going to implement that.
That is really weird. How are they going to have the animation style? That's going to be such a funny clash.
I don't know, man, but I'm pumped to kind of just see that. But yes, I am definitely pumped for this game.
No, I think they're going to do a great job. We've had some really good remakes over the last few years, like the Final Fantasy VII remakes that have come to mind. Silent Hill 2 got a remake recently that was really well received.
Yes, and it was great. It was a great game.
So it sounds like they're respecting, the aura of the original, and they're not trying to, reconfigure the entire thing. But they're remaking it, but they're not going to change too much of the original stuff, which I think is really great.
Yeah, and from what I've seen of, I played through Metal Gear Solid 3 last year, and from what I saw of the trailers and whatnot, they are keeping the scenes almost exactly the same.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is amazing.
It was a great game. It did well for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout outs to Konami, man.
Shout outs to Konami, and shout out to, I can't remember his name, the dude who made the franchise.
Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Fun times. Anyway. That is coming out August 28th of this year, so we got a couple months, and I'm excited. All right, we got Hell Is Us, psychological action thriller set in a mysterious abandoned town. Ooh, spooky. Players must unravel the mystery of an unknown entity stalking them. Ooh.
Is this the game that kind of looked had really big Death Stranding vibes?
I believe so, because I think I messaged you that, and I said this game kind of looks like Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Or they has that like weird, like surreal kind of look to everything, and everything has that weird, like elongated, kind of like stringy look to it.
Yeah. Looks cool.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, the greatest form of flattery is imitation.
Absolutely.
So if they're gonna try to bite off some of Kojima's lunch, then he'll sue him or whatever. Launch date September 4th, 2025.
The band hammer.
We got Lies of P Overture, prequel DLC for Lies of P, which did really well. I've heard a lot of good things about that game. Introducing new areas, bosses, and a deeper look into the game's lore. So this is kind of like a Souls-like kind of game, if I'm thinking correctly. I think I watched some videos of it when it came out.
Yeah, it's definitely considered like one of the best alternatives for the Souls games.
Yeah.
It did very well, and I think this is from another Chinese company, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I think so. You guys can tell me.
We like China.
Yeah, they're doing really good. They're doing really.
We're gonna get canceled. Right.
Yeah.
We love America. We love America.
America's cool. Everything is cool.
No, I mean it looks interesting. Again, we'll talk a little bit about Elden Ring Night Rain at the end of all this, but those kind of games are sometimes hard to kind of dip your toes into, and I think they can be a little intimidating because you're just assuming you're just gonna hate it and be angry, and you might, but you get some of the most satisfaction from these games when you finally master the moves, the rolls, the dodges, the parries you have to do, when you finally get that kill for like the 100th time you fought the boss. All the pain, all the hatred, all the cursing is worth it.
Yeah, it feels real good.
So I think this will be another addition, another great addition to these franchises.
Yeah, and Liza P did really well. So more Liza P. And I hope that the sequel is like a different name, like Liza D.
Liza PP.
D.
All right, that's
nuts.
That's a bad joke. Oh, summer 2025. So not a specific release date, but sometime this summer, which I think will be great.
Hell yeah, brother.
You know what? Now that I'm looking at Dreams of Another, that might be the one that I thought was like Death Stranding. Anyway, Dreams of Another, a surrealist first-person shooter set in a dreamlike world featuring reality-altering mechanics.
I don't even remember this one.
I don't really remember it much, and it sounds super generic. Moving on. Release window 2025 for PS5 and PSVR 2. And sure, it's going to be great. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sure it's going to be the game of the year next year.
Yeah.
And
maybe.
no, probably not. All right.
Probably not. But hey, maybe it'll have some strong player numbers. Maybe it'll make some money. And again, hopefully the developers won't get laid off.
And hopefully we can remember it next time.
Yes, hopefully.
But
anyway,
this one is going to be game of the year.
This one's going to be interesting. I don't know about that, but Days Gone Remastered. So this game was not a bad game. I think it was just plagued with a lot of early technical issues that made people just not play it. So I think it just kind of fell off early.
That's true. That's very true.
So we get an enhanced version of the game. If you don't remember, it's a post-apocalyptic survival game. You get your motorcycle. Your motorcycle breaks down. You got it. Well, it breaks down regularly, but you got to like keep your motorcycle running while you're doing your jobs. If it breaks down, you got to find the stuff. You got to fight the zombies. There's those huge hordes, not whores, hordes that come after you. So
that'd be cool if there was a bunch of whores though.
Updated graphics, performance improvements, and a new difficulty mode. So I think I might actually play this. That game has always intrigued me, but it was always like super old, and I heard it had a lot of technical glitches. So if they can come out, maybe this is a test, little toe test for Sony to see if maybe like there's interest in a sequel, or kind of broadening the franchise. I think they wanted this to be like a big franchise for the console when it came out, and it just kind of tanked early. So
yeah, Sony Bend, the guys who created it, pretty much were hoping that this would be a system seller, but unfortunately, it just like you said, when it first came out, it was plagued with a bunch of like technical issues. Then eventually, like I want to say, like maybe 5. Maybe like 3 to 5 years later, they brought it to PlayStation Plus. Okay. And it kind of gave it like a little bit of a revamp.
Kind of like a revamp.
But then all of a sudden, now here's the kicker though. First of all, if you're on PlayStation, obviously, it's going to be a $10 upgrade. Okay. For people.
Thank you for shouting that out. I forgot to put that in the notes.
Yeah, so it's going to be a $10 upgrade.
$10.
But here's the kicker. The problem is that if you got it for PS Plus for free, when they were doing their monthly games
you
or whatnot.
don't get the upgrade.
You don't get the upgrade, unfortunately, which is, I mean, to me, it's kind of upsetting because I want to play the remaster. And also with Horizon Zero Dawn, they was like, hey, man, like, you can do that too. Like, you can do the $10.
You know, from a business side, I mean, I get it. You want to sell it and not sell it for $10.
Yeah.
But that seems stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of discouraging. It makes me feel like, why did you even put it out on PlayStation Plus in the first place if you're not going to do it?
Well, they probably, yeah, maybe they had no plans to remaster it at that point. And they're like,
good point. Good point.
let's just get it out there. Again, maybe a quick toe test to see if people would play it so that they could get the remaster out.
Yeah,
So.
true. And I hope that this does well, just a lot better than the original one, so that we can maybe get like a sequel.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool. The world is cool. I mean, I know zombie games and zombies have kind of been played to death, but the survival mechanics and even just having the motorcycle being your form of traversal just felt really cool. You're in these big open, beautiful, like northeastern American countryside vistas. You know, it was a cool world to be in. It was just marred with technical issues. So
Yeah.
Hopefully this can right those wrongs. Maybe generate some interest. The voice actor for Deacon, I think his name was, Sam Witmer. I love that dude. He does a lot of voice acting for Star Wars projects. He's a very passionate dude.
Cool.
So he put a lot of work into the voice acting for this character. So I'd love to see it do well. This is coming out April 25th, 2025.
Ooh, so pretty close.
So I'm excited. I think I might actually pick that up.
I'm looking forward to the sales of it. I'm looking forward to seeing how they turn it around and make it a better game.
Sony's we'll talk about this. We can talk about this a little bit later, but Sony's in a really good position, especially considering what Microsoft's doing. You know, becoming more of just like a multi-platform game developer as opposed to like a console company.
Yeah.
So Sony's about to have all these amazing exclusives, remakes on top of like having access to Xbox's library in the future. So
I agree.
You know, like Microsoft's got to get their shit together, because why would you buy an Xbox at this point? Like, you just get a PC or play your games on your freaking PS5 when it happens.
I think that Microsoft now is leaning towards just like a software company.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, they are going to put out more hardware. I think they even said that they're going to like try to like work on.
I think they're going to they still want to make consoles, but that's not their big. They're not going to be like. I don't think it's going to be a big deal, which.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I think that's good. I think honestly for us, it's a pro-consumer move. I don't know if they really care about being pro-consumer, but it's a pro-consumer move in the sense that, I have a PC. I don't have a PS5. I want to get a PS5 for most of these games that I'm seeing, and for some of the other stuff that we've been playing, like Astrobot and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But all the games I can just play on my PC or my PS5 now. I don't need that middle ground console.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess I could get a Switch also, but.
Oh yeah. Are you excited for that Switch too?
I mean, here's the thing. I am excited because I'm probably gonna buy it.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think of all the times I've played my Switch.
Yeah.
It's like barely.
Yeah, I get
just
it.
with my kids, pretty much. But hey, dude, that new Metroid Prime game, if it ever comes out, that would be a Switch seller for me.
Really?
Weren't they doing Metroid Prime like 4?
Yeah, Metroid Prime.
I think they're
4 is
I think they're
now,
redoing it, but
I think it's actually supposed to come out this year. So, and hopefully it'll...
Sold!
So, yeah, it's going to be
Sorry.
good. I'm looking forward to it.
It's not time for Nintendo talk. It's time to continue our conversation on the February 12th State of Play for Sony. No, it's okay. We got Stellar Blade and the Goddess of Victory Nikke DLC. Zach, I know you like this shit in some fashion. Why don't you talk about it? If you like it.
Without kind of sounding like a gooner. Freaking... Goddess of Victory Nikke is a mobile game, a computer game that is plagued with microtransactions, obviously. But you get to play as a big busty anime girls that shoot at people. For Stellar Blade, this is actually a really, 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 really good.
Seems like a good crossover.
Good crossover for sure.
You get all the pretty people in Stellar Blade, all the pretty people in Nikke Goddess of Victory.
Yeah.
Why not throw them all together for fun?
I mean, they already did it with Nier Automata, and that did really well.
Of course it did.
So, yeah, pretty much. So yeah, man, I think this is another one that they are going, obviously, that they're going to sell more copies with. Nikke is extremely popular, especially in the mobile game scene. So yeah, I think it comes with. I think there's like one stage, like a new stage that you can be in there. There's some like little bit of story crossover DLC. I think like 2 or 3 more new costumes, and yeah, like things for that little pod thing that kind of
Okay.
follows you. So
Okay.
yeah, man.
I mean,
Good
it's got an audience. You know, let them eat.
Yeah, yeah. Let
Yeah.
them.
Let them beat.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Nice. I like that.
This comes out June 2025.
You know, I feel like yeah, our buddy is gonna be really into this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, let's not judge anyone, okay?
No,
we all have our weird things we're into.
If I had Stellar Blade, I'd probably pick it up too.
This one I don't remember. Also, if I'm being honest, Blueprints, a mystery adventure game set in a haunted manor where players must uncover the truth about the missing noble family.
The only thing I remember about this one, unfortunately, is that it's going to be a PlayStation Plus premium and extra game that comes out day one.
Okay.
So if you have those services, you can pick that up as well.
Okay, so it's just gonna be on PS Plus.
Yeah.
So kind of like Game Pass situation. You don't have to buy it. It's just available on the PS Plus thing that you're subscribed to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's cool. No, that's cool.
Cool.
I don't remember anything of it
I
other
don't-
than there's a lot of blue stuff, but other than that, it's pretty much it.
A lot of blue stuff. Great. Spring 2025. We got a release date for that bad boy. Not a release date, but a release time frame.
Oh, word.
Okay, so a couple of these I don't remember too much, if I'm being honest. Thanks, guys. Abiotic Factor, a 6-player survival crafting game set in an abandoned research facility. Players must fend off mutated creatures while uncovering the truth about their experiments. I don't remember this, but that sounds cool.
Yeah, it does sound cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember much of the gameplay.
It reminds me a little bit of, like, not exactly, but like Valheim. Like that, you know, you're kind of like in a world, in a factory.
Yeah.
And you just have to like build stuff and learn new skills and then fend off creatures. That's not really all of Valheim, but it kind of reminds me of that. Like what's that Pokemon ripoff?
Power World?
It's kind of like Power World. That's the vibe I'm getting from this.
Oh,
just
okay.
reading this is that
Yeah.
you're kind of dropped in this world with multiple people. You build and craft and survive, and maybe learn about stuff. So
Yeah.
hey,
And also, I think this is another PlayStation Plus situation where
Okay.
that's going to be day one on PlayStation Plus.
okay.
But I think it's also releasing on PC at the same time. So
Okay, I love it. Summer 2025. It says on PS5, so I don't know if it's exclusive.
yeah, I don't
Summer 2025 release window.
Cool.
We're coming to a couple of the last announcements here. We have Tides of Annihilation. I don't know a ton. We didn't see a ton. Like we saw some of the gameplay and we heard the voice acting of the Shadowheart actress. I should know this off the top of my head, but she has a beautiful voice. She's leading the main character. I had no idea that this was based on like King Arthur like lore and myth.
Oh, I didn't know
That's
either.
the world it's kind of set in. I think it is another. I want to say it's another like Souls-esque game. Actually, maybe I'm wrong. It
I
says
think this
faction-based warfare and large-scale battles.
So I think
It's an RPG, yeah.
I think this is the one where like you play as that chick, right? You're
Yes.
playing as the chick,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they showed another chick in the in your like comrade or whatever. And then I think the combat is something with like
Like Final Fantasy 16.
yeah, kind of like a like you. I think there's like ghosts, or it's not ghosts, but like yeah, I don't know. Like there's like knights that fight for you,
Okay.
and it's an action-based game, right?
Yeah, it's an RPG. So
Okay.
so maybe I was wrong on the Souls-like thing. Action RPG. So
Okay, so it's probably
so
like
that
more
is
like a Devil May
that
Cry
is
type.
kind of like a like a Devil May Cry type situation, or like the newer Final Fantasy games.
That game was it Tides of Annihilation looks amazing. Like it looks great.
It looks beautiful. I love the voice acting so far.
Yeah.
I love the look. I love the world. This is talking about faction-based warfare and larger scale battles. So I don't know if that's going to veer more into like that Dynasty Warriors-esque kind of vibe. Probably not quite like that, but you know, the consoles and stuff that you plays on are so powerful. As long as it can handle all that and it not be all choppy and like 5 frames per second, cool.
Let's hope.
I'm into it. I'm very excited actually about that one, especially when I heard the lore and kind of the world that's set in. All right, we got some currently in development stuff for PS5. Metal Eden, a cyberpunk third-person shooter where players take control of a rogue AI attempting to break free from a dystopian system. I can read, maybe.
He can.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't too much into like cyberpunk and all that stuff. is a cool world. I watched a little bit of the anime. It was horribly depressing, but it was really good.
Was it really?
It's super sad, dude. Like
Oh,
I don't
I
want to
know that.
spoil it, but like it's really good, but it ends in a like it's just sad. It's
Fair,
sad, but it's
fair.
good. Very well done. I liked cyberpunk style worlds. This kind of seemed a little bit cyberpunky to me, and I'm like, we already have that, so I don't know how interested I am in it, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know that it was one of the bigger games that was shown in the state of play. However, I don't remember much of it.
Yeah,
But I will say, Cyberpunk is a cool aesthetic. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But ever since Cyberpunk 2077, I feel like it's been kind of outdone.
yeah.
So-
It's kind of like maybe not as bad, but it's like the zombie genre.
Yeah.
It's like there's just so much of it now, kind of oversaturated. And if someone's already doing it really well, what are they going to do different that will make you want to play that instead of just go play 2077? Because they've done so much. That game is so much better now than when it first came out. And they have so much
1000%.
content. So
Yeah, I definitely want to.
I don't want to poop on it, but I'm not that interested.
Yeah, I can't remember much of it. That was the problem with like the state of play in general. Is like most of the games were kind of like I've already seen this before.
They
type
kind of
situation.
go out. But
Yeah.
that leaves us with the last announcement that they ended with, which left a big impression on me. By the way, the Metal Eden, May 6th, 2025.
Cool. Pretty soon.
We have come to the conclusion of State of Play. Soros. Boom, boom. House Marquise. Rogue. Oh, this is going to be a roguelike game, similar to their other game.
Returnal.
Returnal.
Yes.
Returnals? Is that what it is? Returnal?
Yeah, Returnal.
This is starring Rahul Kohli, which I love this guy. He was in like iZombie. He was in the show called Midnight Mass on Netflix. He's a really good actor, and he's really passionate about like video games and like tabletop and stuff. So,
Oh, cool.
he's got a great voice. He did some of the voice work in the trailer. It was only a trailer, no gameplay, but he's going to be the protagonist. This game focuses on an alien world where the players must unravel the mysteries of an abandoned colony while surviving constant threats. So the vibe I get is that it's like each day, you may die a lot in this game, but the goal is you get stronger after each like failure, after each death. So
Yeah.
he talks about how, when the sun dies, this creature rises and he fights it and he dies, but he comes back stronger the next time. And it had these really beautiful visuals of this demon like rising out of the water with all these arms, and he's got this cool armor and this gun and this like eclipse in the sky like fucking berserk. And oh man, just the trailer alone, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play this game. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it looks really cool. The premise of it, once again, I think is just like another Returnal.
Yeah.
Which is good because Returnal did very well, and Housemarque did an amazing job with it.
yeah.
I played a lot of Returnal. I played about, I want to say like 35 hours worth of it.
Yeah, a
Tried
friend of
to
mine
beat
from
it.
work just randomly started. It was like days before this came out, weirdly enough, where he started talking about how he had bought Returnals but never had time to play it, so he started jumping into it. And this came out, and I was like, "Yo, these are the guys that made Returnals."
Yeah.
So this sounds great. Again, I think they're gonna have an event, that's gonna detail more of the game later in the year. Right now, they have a release window of 2026, so it's still a ways out. But again, let it cook,
Yeah.
let it simmer, let it set. Whatever you gotta do, just make it good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Yeah, if they... Housemarque is really good in general. They just do like really good games. Yeah, this was probably the biggest announcement from the state of play, I would say, because
It was such a good ending, dude. It was like epic.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like the music, the monologue was just so good, and then it's just like State of Play's over.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a good ending for the state of play.
I
Itself.
agree.
So,
I agree. So
yeah.
there's, those are the announcements from February 12th State of Play. Some obviously more memorable than others, but it's always cool to see kind of the next wave of games and remakes and stuff kind of coming out. And video games are sweet.
Yeah.
So
Video games are amazing, man.
I instantly, I don't own a PS5, but I literally left that YouTube video being like, I need to buy a PS5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
You gonna get a pro, or are you gonna get a?
I don't know. I don't think I necessarily need the Pro, if I'm being honest. I don't think I want to spend that much money.
No, I agree. I think I will probably keep my PS5 until.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I could find a good deal on one, since I don't have one already, I may consider it. But for me, it's more about, I have a PC, not to brag. PC is
He's a PC
actually,
gamer.
I'm a gamer. No, I'm not. But I've always, even when I played console before I got my PC, I always really valued the frames per second the stability of the game and the actual gameplay and how the game works as opposed to just how it looks. That was one thing that really blew me away when I switched from playing Destiny 2 on my PlayStation 4 to the PC, is like just having that the higher frames per second
Yeah.
just gives the game a whole new dynamic of feeling.
Yeah, the SSD, man, on the PS5 is it's a game changer.
Sorry, y'all.
More than anything, it's now I feel like video game consoles, and especially in this generation, are finally catching up with the PC and are finally becoming PCs in its own way. Because hell, I mean, like even most games that you can normally play on like a mouse and keyboard, you can play on a mouse and keyboard when it comes to your PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I know.
which is cool.
Realistically, you know, they're really not like. I know what you're saying. They're not. It's not really caught up in terms of just like the power.
Yeah.
But you know, the ability even with the PS5 just to switch from like a performance to a more graphical mode or vice versa is good. And I mean, for the average person playing games, you know, it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
That kind of like console gaming is perfect for that. So I find myself veering a little more into that so I can be up with my family playing games instead of like in my cave of an office.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay, rant complete. Let's talk a little bit about the Overwatch 2 spotlight.
Overwatch 2.
So again, we've had our moments playing Overwatch. I've never played Overwatch 2. It looks almost identical to Overwatch 1, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, if you literally played Overwatch 1, you're
Okay.
playing Overwatch 2.
Yeah, so I know there's a lot of controversy around this game. There's a lot of stuff they promised that was going to be new and great about it, and then now it just seems like it's just Overwatch again. And that is even more evident now as we see some of the highlights coming out. They did a big spotlight a couple days ago, or I think last week, where they talked about some of the big changes coming, the new season. There's a couple new champions. They're not called champions. They're called like heroes or whatever. So I got a couple things here. Perks system. Players unlock 2 perks, 1 minor, 1 major per match, adding hero-specific buffs, and strategic depth. So you're able to essentially toggle, and it's almost like in the moment, like power-ups and stratagems that allow you to kind of change the course of battle and synergize with other heroes. So I think that happens mid-match as you acquire kills and, you know, assists and all that stuff within the game.
Oh, neat.
So it kind of helps create some more in-the-moment dynamic gameplay, I think, as you play.
That's cool. I'm wondering if they got that what they're doing their play testing with the PvE modes.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of, you know, they showed them playing, and then it had like 2 different things, and you pick one or the other really quick in the moment, and then you go with that way. And so it's almost kind of like a tightening up of your build as you play,
Cool.
adding in a little more depth. The glorified return of loot boxes.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Now obtainable through gameplay and battle pass progression with transparent drop rates and a guaranteed rare plus item.
Oh.
But guess what? There's probably going to be like ultra mega rare now, so that rare item won't mean shit. You got to spend $50 to get the ultra mega rare skin.
I'll tell you this, man. When it comes to voice cracking and stuff,
I'll tell you this.
when it comes to loot boxes and stuff like that, especially with Overwatch, I really liked Overwatch 1's loot box system. As long as you can play it through like missions or like just like through regular gameplay, I think that it's fine.
Yeah.
And I would probably have loot boxes more than like paying like $20 for a skin.
Yeah, and see, that's the problem. I think they're going to be doing like both.
Oh, no, yeah.
I think it's going to
that's
have the loot
inevitable.
boxes and the hyper expensive skins.
Yeah.
My thing is, you don't need them. I mean, I know you want to look cool. I know you don't want to seem like a loser and have like no skins. But like, dude, if you're good at the game, just style in everyone, and then you're like, who cares? Look, no skin.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but that's just me.
I will say I got the Mercy skin, that $20 one that for like breast cancer.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Is that cool?
Yeah, and also
Yeah, money goes towards a good cause.
Yeah, so that's why I mostly did that. But yeah, and also I'm a Mercy main, so
Hey, that's okay.
I love it, dude.
Speaking a little bit about Overwatch back in the day, they're bringing back 6v6
Good.
for competitive.
Good.
So it's a throwback, bringing back
Really good.
Overwatch 1's classic 6v6 format. A lot of people have been asking for that. They had switched to what, like a 5v5 for Overwatch 2, I
Yep,
believe?
it was 5v5 for the most part, and then they did some like testing.
Yeah.
I think either like last year for 6v6.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they
And
just
I
brought
think
it
the
back.
players were like, F you, 6v6.
Yeah, that's what they wanted.
We have a new meta mode called GOATs. Special mode recreating the GOATs meta, which is triple tank, triple support era. with some balance tweaks. So way back in the day, people used to play this game in obscene ways,
Yeah.
and so they're bringing back a specific mode around trolling each other with 3 supports or 3 tanks.
Wow. So you can't be a DPS. You can only be tanks.
So
And
I think that's just
healers?
the meta. You can be those things, but I think people would just like stack up on tanks or stack up on healers and go wild.
So they're just given options and able to.
It's just a mode, just another throwback, kind of like 6v6. It allows you to not be so rigid with having to say, nope, you need one of these, one of these, one of these, and one of these to play. Now it's like, hey, you can have 3 tanks and a healer and a DPS, or you can have 3 healers and 3 tanks.
Oh, okay. So
You know what I'm saying?
So
So-
it's not like a role queue anymore. It's like more like an open queue type.
That's the vibe I'm getting.
Okay. Cool.
So, and it just
Sweet.
allows, it's just more fun, I guess, more trolling.
Sure.
Premium skins. Look, we just talked about this.
I love skins.
Mythic Piju Zenyatta skin. The new season's premium skin inspired by Chinese mythology. I'm
Cute.
sorry I butchered that name.
Cute.
We had a little bit of a season 16 preview, which is going to be expected in late April. There's a new hero, Freya, a Danish bounty hunter with a crossbow offering high skill mobility and burst damage. Hero bans in competitive. Teams can now ban heroes before matches, adding an esports style draft.
Cool.
Stadium mode, a fast-paced 5v5 where players buy hero mods between rounds, similar to Valorant's economy system.
Cool.
So kind of like that CS. Interesting.
Yeah.
Fortnite did that too.
Yeah, they did with the ballistic
They
mode.
have that new ballistic mode. Interesting.
Yeah.
We did stadium mode. There's some future content teasers. Hero 44 Aqua, a water-based hero from China, coming in season 18.
Cool.
Map voting system. Players will influence map selection in ranked matches starting later this year. So that's always fun. That seems like that should have just been there from the beginning. But anyway, community and controversy. So obviously there's been some stuff around the loot box debate. Some people see that as a step backwards. Honestly, at this point, I'm not saying have it just because, but I mean, like, it seems like they're being fairly transparent about drop rates. And at the end of the day, they're going to be trying to sell you microtransactions anyway. So, why not give me that little boost of serotonin at the end of a great match and I can open up a couple loot boxes. 6v6 mode versus 5v5. This seems like it's more of like a play test kind of situation where they're like, do people like 6v6, like 5v5, what are we going to do? And then there's been some concern around that new Freya hero. Apparently she's a very high skill gap for playing.
Yeah, I've heard too.
So apparently people worry that she might not get played a lot. So,
Yeah.
we'll see. I Overwatch, you got to give it to them. I mean, the franchise has been around forever, it feels like. And it's good to see studios try and switch things up, or at least try to listen to their audience a little bit and go back to maybe what made it successful.
Mm-hmm.
But, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when it comes to Overwatch, I think that Overwatch 2 definitely didn't really even be needed. I think they should have just updated Overwatch 1 in general. But at the same time, I feel like the inclusion of loot boxes, the inclusion of like a new hero, obviously, and other buffs and stuff like that you can enhance gameplay with, I think it's a good thing. I think it's good. It's good that they're experimenting. It's good that they're taking the feedback from others, like the gamers themselves and whatnot. I'm gonna say this. I don't think this is going to be so revolutionary to the point where it's going to beat out like Marvel Rivals.
No.
But I think that as long as Activision Blizzard is able to take care and be able to, bring a lot of good stuff to the Overwatch game itself, I think it's a good step in the right direction.
It is interesting what you said though. Marvel Rivals is killing it right now. I mean, their new hero reveal trailers were reaching like 50-some million views, and people are really hype about it. And it seems odd because that game I heard doesn't have a lot of balance, but people just love playing it. So
yeah, supposedly, is it the Thing? No, not the Thing.
They released some new Fantastic Four characters.
It's the big like rock guy, the big.
That is the Thing, I believe.
Is that what his name is?
He's like orange. And he's got the rocks.
Yeah. I saw some gameplay footage of him. Dude, he wrecks.
Yeah.
So like, he'll probably be a great like tank.
Yeah.
So and I heard what is the other one? The flame guy.
They put in the Human Torch.
Human Torch.
Which he looks fun. So the game looks fun. I'm kind of out of that competitive game mindset nowadays, just because it stresses me out. And I get all
Yeah,
I
it
get all
does.
mad, and I just want to chill when I play games sometimes.
For sure. Yeah, I played a lot. I played probably about a good 10 hours of Marvel Rivals, and I will say that I would rather play Marvel Rivals than
Yeah.
Overwatch.
I still have PTSD from Binsky and his brother yelling at us.
Dude, yeah, dude. Yeah, heck yeah. But yeah, good on Marvel Rivals. Shout outs to them. They're doing a really good job. And hopefully Overwatch can kind of get that steam back.
Yeah,
But we'll see what happens.
I love it. So, that wraps up some of the Overwatch 2 spotlight information.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about innovating on a concept that's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And that's going to lead us into our conversation about Elden Ring, Night Rain.
We are Elden boys.
We'll keep it short but sweet. There's been some the NDAs were lifted on the some of the information around Elden Ring Night Rain. There was like an open beta, like playtest style thing that came out, and there was test footage or B-roll footage given out to a lot of streamers. I think we watched the Iron Pineapple video to kind of get some of the summary of what's going on. But we have Elden Ring Night Rain coming out on May 30th. We kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. Games like Elden Ring, those Souls-like high difficulty ceiling games, the very high rewarding but very punishing style game is always kind of hard to get into. But I think Elden Ring Night Rain is potentially going to strike a chord with people who are a fan of like pseudo battle royale style games, fast paced, but it still has that punishing kind of aspect of Elden Ring. So Elden Ring, it's a standalone co-op RPG set in the Elden Ring universe. From what we saw from the videos we watched and some of the stuff we read, you're going to be dropping in with teams of 3. There in the demo, there was 4 classes available, but there's 8 that will be available on launch.
Oh, neat. I didn't know that.
So there's different characters, that have different types of move sets. You essentially pick a class, and you have, an ult ability and a minor ability on top of the normal like swings and strikes that you can do. So essentially, you drop in. There's a circle that kind of pushes you to a certain area. You gear up, you fight a boss, you move to the next day, gear up, fight a boss, move to the third day where you fight the final boss. And if you don't die along the way, you get blessed with certain types of loot and minor items that you can bring into your next run in some cases. I think they're more like consumable style.
Very cool.
Yeah, so
cool.
Says here, new hero characters, unique abilities, different play styles. You can unlock new gear, new weapons, and upgrades between runs. So again, you start at level 1 each time. You kill, go to a spot to level up. There's a shared loot system, so you kind of got to have that strategery of, oh, what are you taking? What am I taking? You don't want to be that loot ninja that takes everything. One thing I appreciate, it's a faster paced game, so it's constant sprinting. I think there's a little bit of a stamina involved in that, but you can sprint much faster, and there's no fall damage. So you can literally just jump off the top of things and traverse things a little bit faster.
Nice. So you don't need you can't get the horse or anything, right?
I don't believe so. I didn't see any mounts. You start the game like flying this little eagle thing to the location. There are spots in the map that kind of like fly you up into the air to traverse to higher spots. And there are parts where you can then grab another eagle and kind of fly around a little bit. It definitely looks interesting. I'm not huge. I have Elden Ring, but again, it always stressed me out when I played it. This looks a little stressful with the fast-paced kind of nature of it, but it looks like kind of like a more approachable Elden Ring.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, and it's cool that it's co-op too.
Yeah,
which is everybody has been wanting that.
Yeah, co-op and it matchmakes you. So
yeah.
If you don't have friends to play with, you can still just matchmake in with 2 randos.
What I liked about the original Elden Ring, the standalone game, is that they came out with an update that made like a 1v1 type of fighting situation where you can like go into you essentially you can not drop in, but you can like meet at a certain area in like this Coliseum area, and then it matchmake you with other people so that you can fight them one-on-one, which is cool. And I like this is kind of like an elevation of that, or essentially,
or like an evolution.
That's what I meant of that, because to me it's because now they kind of formulated that into a co-op experience. And not only that, but when I found out that there was going to be like a ring that closes in, and it has like a little, like a more of like an intense vibe to it, to me, that was like,
I think
okay,
each ring
cool.
it pushes you to like the final boss fight. So the goal is to drop. There's a lot of points of interest on the map that you can use. There's a huge map, and there's like castles you can invade. There's places you can go that give you more like healing pot charges. Places you can go where you can fight like mini bosses that drop better loot. Places we can go just to gain level by killing mobs. Places you can go to find chests, to get different levels of loot. There's rarity, so there's like blue and purple and orange loot. I don't know the maximum level. I want to say it's like 12 or 15 you can level up to.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks really fun.
That's cool.
I'm really interested.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I didn't know all like the specifics of it, and all like the minor details to it. But
Yeah.
from what you're telling me, it seems like
Yeah.
a very good co-op experience.
I think so. I don't know everything about it, and I'm probably missing some of the information, but it looks approachable. It looks fun. I don't want to really compare it to Fortnite because it's really not like Fortnite, but it does kind of maintain some of those elements of dropping in, looting up, killing bosses instead of other players, and then being kind of pushed into an area with that shrinking circle.
Now, it's a three play. Obviously, you're in a team of three, but there's other team of threes, right? Or is it
No,
just
it's just you.
okay?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's purely, you guys or your team of three versus the world itself. But the goal is to just drop. From what I gathered from the Iron Pineapple video, he was gauging around 10 to 15 minutes that the circle gave you before it kind of funneled you in. So it is kind of fast paced. You drop in, you got to almost kind of immediately figure out, do we want to go kill some encampments of people? Do we want to go attack a castle? Do we want to go look for loot? Do we want to go hit this place for more health? So yeah, the idea is you got to kind of synergize and kind of build on the fly and work as a unit to be able to gear up and level up enough to really get these bosses. Because by the second and third boss, it seems pretty difficult.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's also cool because it's not just Elden Ring bosses. You're fighting bosses from other Souls games. Ooh. So one of the first bosses that the Iron Pineapple video showed was, I guess, a boss from Dark Souls 1 that was kind of reconfigured. So it's not really lore accurate with Elden Ring. I think that's been one of the complaints, that it feels kind of random. But it allows you to kind of see some of the best hits of these bosses and be able to kind of experience almost like a little piece of history from each game within one.
Kind of brings me back to like Monster Hunter, because that's what Monster Hunter did.
Yeah.
With that, when we were talking about that monster,
yeah,
that the monster that was included with like the next round of like DLC that's gonna, or the first round of DLC that's gonna come from Monster Hunter, that came from that. I think that monster is from Monster Hunter Rise.
Okay.
So the fact that Elden Ring's doing something like that, where they're bringing their bosses from other games, that's pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
Because it'll be good for Elden Ring and Dark Souls nerds.
Yeah. It looks fun. We do have a release date, May 30th, 2025. It was also cool that they did this open play test because they really wanted to stress the servers. They really wanted to see how people synergized and made their builds and how quickly it took them to kill bosses. So they got a lot of really good player data, and I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, that's exciting, man.
Yeah.
I'm not like the hugest fan of the Dark Souls games, and I got to the Fire Giant in Elden Ring, and then after that, I was just like, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
I'm done. I'm done.
But
the cool thing about this is I think it can kind of give people, I keep saying this or use this analogy, like a little toe in the water to kind of feel it out. And I think in some ways, a lot of these people will be moved over to Elden Ring itself, or at least be interested and want to buy it, want to play it. So
Absolutely.
I think it'll be good for the franchise in general while they're developing maybe a newer game.
Yeah.
Because I have heard that this feels more like a very well done mod to Elden Ring as opposed to like its own standalone game. However, it looks great, it looks fun, and if you don't kill your friends from dying all the time, I think it'll be a fun time with your buddies too.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's cool, man. I'm looking forward to kind of seeing the reception of it too.
I love it. So once more, I already said it once, May 30th, 2025, we have a release date. I believe it's going to be for everything. No, not everything. I think it's PS5 and PC, and probably Xbox.
I would assume it may be on Xbox too.
Yeah.
Because I think the first Elden Ring like released with all of the consoles and PC and whatnot.
Yes, multi-platform. Obviously not Switch though.
No. So the stinky Switch can't run
Stinky Switch.
run it very well.
Switch is fun, but it's run its course.
It's good for the Nintendo properties. But
I love it.
we'll see what happens.
So, I mean, that's the news I got for you. Is there anything else you need to talk about before we sign off for this episode?
Not really, man. I think video games are cool.
Yeah,
Video
games are awesome.
And I think we have a lot to look forward to with them. There's more announcements for the year. Obviously, there's going to be some bangers. I feel like is going to be coming out.
I agree.
And
we're going to learn more about these games as the year moves on. More gameplay, which I think is always important, because while a lot of these games looked cool, we really won't know until we get some hands-on gameplay, see some videos, get the in-depth stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And also, just wanted to say, From Software, I know you're loving the Elden Ring stuff right now, but give us what we really want, and that's the Bloodborne 2. Or the Bloodborne remaster.
That's what everyone's been talking about. I've heard some rumors that they didn't put it in here because they're planning like their own like kind of big announcement for it. But
I hope so, because
a lot of people have been asking for that Bloodborne remake.
A lot of people were pretty disappointed about the state of play because once again, like there was no announcements or anything for Bloodborne. But you know what?
You gotta set your expectations. But I believe it's got to be coming.
I mean, the demand's too high.
100%.
Why would they not bring it back?
100%. 100%.
Just give us like a 60 frames patch like that. People would just love that in general.
No, do a remake.
Do a remake.
Do a remake. Take your time. Do a remake.
For sure. For sure.
That's all I got.
Yep. Me too.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm Nav.
I'm Kaz.
And this is
Game On and Beyond. See you next time, guys.
See ya.